Good afternoon. Hello, Paulette.
Hello,
And
Gwen.
welcome to the English Book Club. Excellent. Nice to see you here. So let me invite everybody to speak and let me just check. So Hermina, Nina,
Hi.
hello. Okay, I'm hoping we've got no echo. I'm
I
just trying
have,
to.
there is echo, I'm sorry to say.
Oh, okay.
I
Bear with
don't
me one
have echo.
second. Okay, it's just you then, Hermina. Let me go online. So we've got today's readers. Let me just check. We've got who was first. Okay, it's Paulette, Eleanor, Alexandra, Nina, Selena, and Hermina. Yeah, love it when they're Nina, Selena, Hermina. Oh, it couldn't be better. I don't know why, it just cracked me up. And talking about cracking me up, you guys are so funny. I can't believe all of you actually managed to log in and say hello at 12 o'clock. But I take it from what the system reports. Okay, so even though it looks like you all logged in at the same time, it's a bit like twins. One of them's got to be first. So I took it from the reading I have on my screen, which had Paulette as the first, Eleanor as the second, Alexandra as the third. That's what I go by, okay? Just to explain why you might not be the first person to read today. Okay, so let's do a little sound check. Bear with me one second. Where am I? Where's my voice gone? I've lost my voice setting for some reason. Hello Nina, nice to see you. Don't worry, you've not missed anything. I'm a bit lost because I'm trying to get back to the voice. Here we are. Okay, so Nina, I'm sending you an invitation to speak. Okay, so we should be ready to go. Hello. And last week we finished at, let me look at the pinned messages. Remember, you can always find where we are. Chapter 9, page 62. So let me just go to here. Page 62 in my version of the online book, which in the printed book is 57. And we got to the Captain 2 was taking his observations, which is the sort of second full paragraph. Does everybody agree with me? That's where we are. I'm
Yes,
hoping
I
you do.
agree.
Okay. You agree. Good, good, good. Well, as long as you agree because you're the first person to read. So, Paulette, whenever you are ready, if you would like to start.
Yes, thank you. The captain, too, was taking his observations, but rather of the man's clothes than his person. And to be sure, as soon as he had taken off the great coat, he showed false mighty fine for the round house of a merchant brick, having a hat with feathers, a red waistcoat, breeches of black plush, and a blue coat with silver buttons and handsome silver lace, costly clothes, though somewhat spoiled with the fog and being slept in. "I'm vexed, sir, about the boat," says the captain. "There are some pretty men gone to the bottom," said the stranger, "that I would rather see on the dry land again than half a score of boats." "Friends of yours?" said Hoseason. "You have none such friends in your country," was the reply. "They would have died for me like dogs." "Well, sir," said the captain, still watching him, "there are more men in the world than boats to put them in." "And that's true too," cried the other, "and you seem to be a gentleman of great penetration." "I have been in France, sir," says the captain, so that it was plain he meant more by the words than showed upon the face of them. Well, sir, well, sir, says the other, and so has many a pretty man for the matter of that. No doubt, sir, says the captain, and fine coats. Oh, oh, says the stranger, is that how the wind sets? And he laid his hand quickly on his pistols. Don't be hasty, said the captain. Don't do a mischief before you see the need of it. You've a French soldier's coat upon your back, and a Scotch tongue in your head, to be sure. But so has many an honest fellow in these days, and I dare say none the worse of it. So, said the gentleman in the fine coat, are ye of the honest party? Meaning, was he the Jacobite for each side? And these sort of civil broils takes the name of honesty for its own. Why, sir, replied the captain, I am a true blue Protestant, and I thank God for it. It was the first word of any religion I had ever heard from him, but I learned afterwards he was a great church-goer while on shore. But for all that, says he, I can be sorry to see another man with his back to the wall. Can he? So, indeed? Asked the Jacobite. Well, sir, to be quite plain with ye, I am one of those honest gentlemen that were in trouble about the years 45 and 6, and, to be still quite plain with ye, if I got into the hands of any of the red-coated gentry, it's like it would go hard with me. No, sir, I was for France, and there was a French ship cruising here to pick me up, but she gave us the go-by in the fog. Us, I wish from the heart that he had done yourself. And the best that I can say is this: if you can set me ashore where I was going, I have that upon me will reward you highly for your trouble. In France? Says the captain. No, sir, that I cannot do. But where ye come from, we might talk of that. And then, unhappily, he observed me standing in my corner, and packed me off of the galley to get supper for the gentleman. I lost no time, I promise you, and when I came back into the roundhouse, I found the gentleman had taken a money belt from about his waist and poured out a guinea or two upon the table. The captain was looking at the guineas, and then at the belt, and then at the gentleman's face, and I thought he seemed excited. Half of it, he cried, and I'm your man. The other swept back the guineas into the belt and put it on again under his waistcoat. I have told you, sir, I have told you, sir, said he, that not one doit of it belongs to me. It belongs to my chieftain. And here he touched his head. And while I would be but a silly messenger to grudge some of it that the rest might come safe, I should show myself a hound. Indeed, if I bought my own car case any too, if I bought my own car keys any too dear. 30 guineas on the seaside, or 60, if ye set me on the link lock. Take it, if you will. If not, you can do your worst. Aye,
Very good. Well done.
thank you.
Excellent. Good job. So, any questions before I give Paulette her feedback? Everybody okay? Okay, so the feedback's going to go into the kidnapped thread. I hope you can all see it. Excellent acting indeed. Indeed, Alexandra. Okay, so, Paulette, the first word, clothes. Clothes.
Clothes.
That's better. Good.
Clothes.
And then fog. It's not like or, it's an o. Fog.
fog,
That's better. Fog. Shorter, not fog, just fog.
fog,
Right?
fog.
That's better, yes. And then, oh ho. It's not like oh oh. Oh oh, it's like a warning. Sort of Teletubbies. Oh oh.
Oh,
It's,
oh,
yeah, it's oh ho.
oh, ho.
It's like an exclamation of oh
Yes.
really.
Oh, ho.
Oh.
Oh, ho.
That's it. Good. Then own. Again,
Own,
own. Oh, oh,
own,
oh, 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 oh. Very good.
own.
Then Jacobite.
I am Jacobite.
Very good. And poured.
Port.
That's like not like power, pour. And then chieftain, not chieftain, chieftain.
Chieftain.
That's it. The sort of the head of a clan in Scotland is the chieftain. Okay. And then you get a smiley for talk. Well done.
Talk.
That's it. Good, good, good. Well done. Havina sick of Teletubbies? What is a Teletubby? Is it some kind of cat that appears on... I think you mean Teletubbies. Teletubbies.
You just mentioned Teletubbies.
Yeah, Teletubbies, not Teletubbies.
Okay. I mean, this the same. But I am
I
sick
know.
of those ugly, colored, somewhat.
Inky Winky, la la.
Barba Papa is my favorite.
Teletubbies,
Barba
Teletubbies,
Papa. I
shout.
recommend Barba Papa, not Teletubbies. I hate them. I hated them.
They're not much on it. They're not on television much anymore.
Oh, God, thanks.
CBeebies has got its own channel anyway, so if they are, they're hidden away there. Okay, so right then, the next person to read is Eleanor. Eleanor, are you ready?
Can you hear me?
I can. Let me just increase your volume a tad. Bear with me 1 second.
I'm having problems with voice in second line, but I will sort it out.
Oh, there's always problems with voices. That's why I don't go into Second Life to do sessions anymore, because the voice problems drove me insane.
I have a better computer now, but unfortunately the voice is working worse.
Oh, okay. Might be a permissions issue. But anyway, let's not go into Second Life troubleshooting.
No. I don't.
We spend the whole 2 hours, the whole hour doing that. Okay, so Eleanor, whenever you are ready, if you'd like to start.
I, said Causison, and if I give ye ever to the soldiers, you'd make a fool's bargain, said the other. My chief, let me tell you, sir, is forfeited like every honest man in Scotland. His estate is in the hands of a man they call King George, and it is his officers that collect the rents, or try to collect them. But for the honour of Scotland, the 4 tenant bodies take a thought upon their chief lying in exile. And this money is a part of that very rent for which King George is looking. Now, sir, he seemed to me to be a man that understands things. Bring this money with the reach of government, and how much of it will come to you? Little enough, to be sure, said Causison. And then, if they knew, he added dryly. But I think if I was to try, that I could hold my tongue about it. Oh, but I beguiled ye there, cried the gentleman. Play me false, and I'll play you cunning. If a hand is laid upon me, they shall ken what money it is. Well, returned the captain, what must be must. 60 guineas, and done. Here's my hand upon it. And here's mine, said the other. And thereupon the captain went out, rather hurriedly, I thought, and left me alone in the round house with the stranger. At that period, so soon after the 45, there were many exiled gentlemen coming back at the peril of their lives, either to see their friends or to collect a little money. And as for the Highland chiefs that had been forfeited, it was a common matter of talk how the tenants would stint themselves to send the money, and the clansmen outfaced the soldiery to get it in, and ran the gauntlet of our great navy to carry it across. All this I had, of course, heard tell of, and now I had a man under my eyes whose life was forfeit on all these counts and upon one more. For he was not only a rebel and a smuggler of rents, but had taken service with King Louis of France. And as if all this were not enough, he had a belt full of golden guineas round his loins. Whatever my opinions, I could not look on such a man without a lively interest. And so, you're a Jacobite, said I as I sat neat before him. I, said he, beginning to eat, and you, by your long face, should be a Whig? Betwixt and between, said I, not to annoy him, for indeed I was as good a Whig as Mr. Campbell could make me. And that's nothing, said he, but I'm saying, Mr. Betwixt and between, he added, this bottle of yours is dry, and it's hard if I'm to pay 60 guineas and begrudge a dram upon the back of it. I go and ask for the key, said I, and stepped on deck. The fog was as close as ever, but the swell almost down. They had laid the brig to, not knowing precisely where they were, and the wind, what little there was of it, not serving well for their true course. Some of the hands were still hastening for breakers, but the captain and the two officers were in the waist with their heads together. It struck me, I don't know why, that they were after no good, and the first word I heard as I drew softly near more than confirmed me.
Very good. Well done.
Okay.
Nicely read. Okay, so you were right to have doubts, Paulette. Sorry, Paulette just wrote, I have doubts about the pronunciation of forfeited. Okay, so it's the first word, funnily enough. First, any questions before I give Eleanor her feedback?
I have begrudged a dram upon the back of the boat, I understand.
Don't begrudge somebody a dram. It means he's run out of alcohol, he's run out of drink.
Mm-hmm.
The alcohol's locked away, as it often was in those days, and he's saying he's just paid 60 guineas, which is a lot of money
I
back
got
then.
it, but what's the back in this context? On the back of this bottle?
On the back of on the back of just means let me just find it. Hang on a second.
Uh-huh. That's
Where is it?
since I got it, but I was
Okay. I thought it was the dram. Betwixt and between. Okay.
the back is
Upon the back of it. Okay. He's just said he's a Jacobite. The Jacobites supported the King. Oh, what was his name? King James. King James the Seventh. Okay, they were the Jacobites, and he's just asked the lad if he's a Whig who supported King George. Okay, so the Jacobites fought against the English. Okay, and you were either a Whig, you supported the cause of the English king, or you were a Jacobite, you wanted Scotland to be run by a Scottish king. So on the back of it means, I hope you won't not give me a drink just because we're kind of enemies, if you know what I mean. Okay? On the back of it, because of it. Okay? Does that make sense?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, okay. It's very idiomatic, okay? But it just means that. I hope you're not going to hold it against me and refuse me a drink just because I'm a Jacobite, okay? Okay, so if that's all the questions, then first word, forfeited. Not like forfeited. Forfeited.
Okay,
with
I
stress.
didn't check it. Forfeited.
That's it. Good. Then the next word. Oh, let me just get that back in the book. The next word is dryly, not dry lily, dryly.
Dryly. Okay, dryly.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
that's it. Then it's
Louis, of
teeny
course. Yeah. My eldest.
Louis,
Or
not
the,
Louise. Louise.
yeah.
That could have got you home back then. And then Campbell, not like Campbell, Campbell. It's a silent P.
Campbell.
That's it. Then you get a smiley for gauntlet. Well done.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. I do remember.
And do you know what to throw down the gauntlet means? If I throw down a gauntlet, what am I doing?
It's the same as guns. So defy somebody.
Basically it's to challenge somebody to a fight.
Yeah, that's what I meant. It's a duel or something.
That's it. In the old days, it was literally a fight to the death. It was a duel. You threw down or you slapped somebody across the face with a gauntlet, which is a type of glove, a heavy glove. But it's also to challenge somebody. Okay. Okay. Then the next person on my reading list is Alexandra. Alexandra, can I hear you? Can you hear me?
Oh, yes.
Excellent. If you would like to start as soon as you're feeling comfy.
It was Mr. Weird crying out as if upon a sudden thought. Couldn't we whale him out of the roundhouse? He's better where he is, returned Season. He hasn't room to use his sword. Well, that's true, said Reard, but he's hard to combat. Hard, said Season. We can get the men in talk, one upon each side, and pin him by the two arms. Or, if that's not hold, sir, we can make a run by both the doors and get him underhand before he has the time to draw. At this hearing, I was seized with both fear and anger at this treacherous, greedy, bloody man that I sailed with. My first mind was to run away. My second was bolder. Captain, said I, the gentleman is seeking a tram, and the bottle's out. You will give me the key? They all started and turned about. Why, here's our chance to get the firearms, Beard cried, and then to me. Hark here, David, he said. Do you ken where the pistols are? Aye, put horses on. David kens. David's a good lad. Yes, see, David, my man. Yon wild Highland man is a danger to the ship, besides being a rank 4 to King George, God bless him. I had never been so bedavid since I came on board, but I said yes, as if all I had were quite natural. The trouble is, resumed the captain, that all our firelocks, great and little, are in the round house, under this man's nose. likewise as the powder. Now, if I or one of the officers was to go in and take them, he would fall to thinking. But a lad like you, David, I snapped up a horn and a pistol or two without remark. And if you can do it clearly, I'll bear it. I'll bear it in mind when it will be good for you to have friends. And that's when we come to Carolina. Here Mr. Reard whispered him a little. Very right, sir, said the captain, and then to myself. And see here, David, young man has a belt full of gold, and I give you my word that you shall have your fingers in it. I told him I would do as he wished. So indeed I had scarce a breeze to speak with. And upon that he gave me the key of the spirit locker, and I began to go slowly back to the round house. What was I to do? They were dogs and thieves. They had stolen me from my own country. They had killed poor Ransom. And was I to hold the candle to another murder? But then, upon the other hand, there was a fear of that very plain before me. For what could a boy and a man, if they were as brave as lions, against a whole ship's company?
Very good. Well done. Oh, it's getting quite exciting. Nicely done. Nicely read. So, any questions before I give Alexandra her feedback? Is everybody okay? Oh, then. Okay, so this is a weird one, but I had never been so be-Davided, as in that suddenly, instead of oi you, they're using his first name, but it's be-Davided. Okay,
Yes.
it.
So be Davided.
That's it. I don't think I'd ever say I've never been so belind, but okay, so then, yes, to be addressed as his first name. Gosh.
Yes,
Then,
David.
that's it. Then cleverly.
Cleverly.
That's it. And breath. To breathe is the verb.
Breath.
Breath is the noun. Okay. Take a deep
Breath.
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 That's it. And well done. You get a smiley for Carolina. Yay. Corrected yourself. I love it. Makes me so happy. Okay, so
Thank you.
next person. You're welcome. The next person on my reading list is Nina. Nina, are you there? Are you ready?
Yes.
Excellent. Well, whenever you're feeling comfy, if you would like to start.
Okay, thank you. I was still arguing it back and forth and getting no great clearness. When I came into the round house and saw the Jacobite eating his supper under the lamp. And at that my mind was made up all in a moment. I have no credit by it. It was by no choice of mine, but as if by compulsion, that I walked right up to the table and put my hand on his shoulder. "Do you want to be killed?" said I. He sprang to his feet and looked a question at me as clear as if he had spoken. "Oh," cried I, "they're all murderers here." It's a ship full of them. They've murdered a boy already. Now it's you. I, said he, but they haven't got me yet. And then, looking at me curiously, will ye stand with me? That will I, said I. I am not thief, nor yet murderer. I will stand by you. Why then, said he, what's your name? David Balfour, said I, and then, thinking that a man with so fine a coat must like fine people, I added, for the first time, of shawls. It never occurred to him to doubt me, for a Highlander is used to see great gentlefolk in great poverty. But as he had no estate of his own, my words nettled a very childish vanity he had. My name is Stuart, he said, drawing himself up. Alan Breck, they call me. A king's name is good enough for me, though I bear it plain and have the name of no farm maiden to clap to the hind end of it. And having administered this rebuke, as though it were something of a chief importance, he turned to examine our defenses. The round house was built very strong to support the breaching of the seas. Of its 5 apertures, only the skylight and 2 doors were large enough for the passage of a man. The doors, besides, could be drawn close. They were of stout oak and ran in grooves and were fitted with hooks to keep them either shut or open as the need arose. The one that was already shut I secured in this fashion, but when I was proceeding to slide to the other, Alan stopped me. David, said he, for can I bring to mind the name of your landed estate, and so will make so bold as to call you David. That door being opened is the best part of my defenses. It would be yet better shut, says I. No, it would be better shut, says I. Not so, David, says he. Yes, see, I have but no face, but so long as that door is open, and my face to it, the best part of my enemies will be in front of me, where I wish to find them.
Very good, well done.
Thank you.
Excellent. So, any questions before I give Nina her feedback? No? No? Okay. Oh, no. From Hermina. Okay, so Nina, first word, Jacobite. It's not like the French je, it's just je. Jacobite. Try it.
Jacobite.
That's it, good. Then walked, silent E, walked.
Walked.
That's it, walked. Okay, remember it's a T at the end, walked.
Walked.
That's better, good. Then murdered, with a D, it's not a T sounding at the end, it's a D, and it's still a silent E. Murdered. Try it.
Murdered.
Very good. And then we've got occurred. Another silent E. Occurred.
Occurred.
Very good. Very good. And administered.
Administered.
Yay. Excellent. So all silent E's. Then to examine.
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 That's
Examine.
it. Like exam, and then you're examined in the exam. Okay, then already. Already.
Already.
Very good. And you get 1, 2, 3, 4 smileys. Well done. So first one, arguing. Try it.
Arguing.
Good. Getting.
Getting.
Yeah. Childish.
Childish.
And apertures.
Apertures.
Very good. Excellent. So the next person to read is Selena. Selena, are you with us?
Yes.
Excellent. Whenever you are feeling comfortable, if you would like to start.
Okay. Then he gave me from the rack a cutlass, of which there were a few besides the firearms, choosing it with great care, shaking his head, and saying he had never in all his life seen poorer weapons. And next he set me down to the table with a powder horn, a bag of bullets, and all the pistols which he bade me charge. And that will be better work, let me tell you, said he, for a gentleman of decent birth than scraping plates and racing drums to a wean tarry sailors. Thereupon he stood up in the midst with his face to the door, and drawing his great sword, made trial of the room he had to wield it in. I must stick to the point, he said, shaking his head, and that's a pity too. It doesn't set my genius, which is all for the upper guard. And now, said he, do you keep on charging the pistols and give heed to me. I told him I would listen closely. My chest was tight, my mouth dry, the light dark to my eyes. The thought of the numbers that were soon to leap in upon us kept my heart in a flutter, and the sea, which I heard washing round the brig, and where I thought my dead body would be cast ere morning, run in my mind strangely. First of all, said he, how many are against us? I reckoned them up, and such was the hurry of my mind, I had to cast the numbers twice. 15, said I. Alan whistled. Well, said he, that can't be cured. And now follow me. It is my part to keep this door, where I look for the main battle. In that you have no hand. And mind and dinner fire to this side unless they get me down. For I would rather have 10 foes in front of me than one friend like you cracking pistols at my back. I told him, indeed, I was no great shot. And that's very bravely said, he cried, in a great admiration of my candour. There is many a pretty gentleman that wouldn't dare to say it. But then, sir, said I, there is the door behind you, which they may perhaps break in. Aye, said he, and that is part of your work. No sooner the pistols charge, that you must climb up into yon bed where you're handy at the window, and if they lift hand against the door, you're to shoot. But that's not all. Let's make a bit of a soldier of you, David. What else have you to guard? There is the skylight, said I. But indeed, Mr. Stewart, I would need to have eyes upon both sides to keep the two of them. For when my face is at the one, my back is to the other. And that's very true, said Alan. But have you no ears to your head? To be sure, cried I. I must hear the bursting of the glass. You have some rudiments of sense, said Alan grimly. Chapter 10. The Siege of the Round House. But now our time of truce was come to an end. Those on deck had waited for my coming till they grew impatient, and scarce had Alan spoken when the captain showed face in the open door. Stand, cried Alan, and pointed his sword at him. The captain stood, indeed, but he neither winced nor drew back a foot. A naked sword, says he. This is a strange return for hospitality. Do you see me? Said Alan. I am come of kings. I bear a king's name. My badge is the oak. Do you see my sword? It has slashed the heads of mere wigamers. Then you have toes upon your feet. Call up your vermin to your back, sir, and fall on. The sooner the clash begins, the sooner you'll test this steel throughout your vitals. The captain said nothing to
Very
Alan.
good, well done. Beep beep, time up.
Okay.
Well done, very nicely read, excellent. Okay, so any questions? Before I give Selina her feedback. Oh, okay, then. Celine. First one is poorer. To be poorer. Try it.
Poor.
That's it. Poorer. Not poorer. Poorer.
Poorer.
That's it. It's like little at the end.
Okay.
And then stood. It's an O sound, not room. Stood.
Is it an stood? No.
Yeah, to stand he stood. The boy stood on the burning deck whence all but he had fled. He'd eaten 7 pots of jam and no amount of bread. Okay, so then the next one, reckoned. Reckoned. It's just stress. The pronunciation was fine, but it's reckoned. So the stress is slightly different. Try it.
Reckoned.
Very good. Then candor, not like candor, candor.
Candor.
That's it. And the rudiments of something. Rudiments.
Rudiments.
Very good indeed. Well done.
Thank you.
So, last but not least, we have Hermina. Hermina, are you with me?
Yes, I am.
Excellent. Good, good, good. So, I can hear you loud and clear whenever you are ready. If you would like to start. Yep, clear your throat, have a glass of water by you.
Yeah, I forgot, as always, sorry.
Oh, you should always have a glass of water or some
Yeah.
cough sweets.
Yeah,
Okay, whenever you're
it is
ready.
important. Okay, thank you. I will start. The captain said nothing to Alan, but he looked over at me with an ugly look. David, said he, I'll mind this. And the sound of his voice went through me with a jar. Next moment he was gone. And now, said Alan, let your hand keep your head, for the grip is coming. Alan drew a dirk, which he held in his left hand in case they should run in under his sword. I, on my part, clambered up into the berth with an armful of pistols and something of a heavy heart, and set open the window where I was to watch. It was a small part of the deck that I could overlook, but enough for our purpose. The sea had gone down, and the wind was steady and kept the sails quiet, so that there was a great illness in the ship, in which I made sure I heard the sound of muttering voices. A little after, and there came a splash a clash of steel upon the deck, by which I knew they were dealing out their cutlasses, and one had been let fall, and after that silence again. I do not know if I was what you call afraid, but my heart beat like a bird's, both quick and little, and there was a dimness came before my eyes which I continually rubbed away and which continually returned. As for hope, I had none, but only a darkness of despair and a sort of anger against all the world that made me long to sell my life as dear as I was able. I tried to pray, I remember, but that same hurry of my mind, like a man running, would not suffer me to think upon the words, and my chief, which was to have the thing begin and be done with it. It came all of a sudden when it did, with a rush of feet and a roar, and then a shout from Alan, and a sound of blows, and some one crying out as if hurt. I looked back over my shoulder and saw Mr. Schuan in the doorway, crossing blades with Alan. "That's him that killed the boy," I cried. "Look to your window," said Alan, and as I turned back to my place, I saw him pass his sword through the mate's body. Sorry. It was none too soon for me to look to my own part, for my head was scarce back at the window before 5 men carrying a spare yard for a battering ram ran past me and took post to drive the door in. I had never fired with a pistol in my life, and not often with a gun, far less against a fellow creature, but it was now or never, and just as they swung the yard, I cried out, "Take that," and shot into their midst. I must have hit one of them, for he sang out and gave back a step, and the rest stopped as if a little disconcerted. Before they had time to recover, I sent another ball over their heads, and at my third shot, which went as wide as the second, the whole party threw down the yard and ran for it. Then I looked round again into the deck-house. The whole place was full of the smoke of my own firing, just as my ears seemed to be burst with the noise of the shots. But there was Alan standing as before, only now his sword was running blood to the hilt, and himself so swelled with triumph and fallen into so fine an attitude that he looked to be invisible. Right before him on the floor was Mr. Schuan, and his hands and knees the blood was pouring from his mouth, and he was sinking slowly lower, with a terrible white face. And just as I looked, some of those from behind caught hold of him by the heels and dragged him bodily out of the round house. I believe he died, as they were doing it. "There is one of you wigs free," cried Alan, and then turning to me, he asked if I had done much execution. "I have done much execution." I told him I had winched one, and thought it was the captain. "And I have settled too," says he. "No, there is not enough blood left. They will be back again. Do you watch, David? This was but a drum before meat."
Very good.
Okay.
Okay, we'll have to find out what happens next week, I'm afraid. So,
Oh,
okay, very nicely read. Yeah, I do have to finish on time today, so I've got to carry on reading, but I can't. Okay, so any questions before I give Hermina her feedback? Everybody okay? No questions? Good, thank you. Then, Hermina, the first word is anger, not like angel.
Yeah,
Anger.
anger.
That's it, don't be angry. Don't show anger.
Uh-huh.
Then battering ram, it's one word, battering ram.
A battering ram.
That's it. Battering ram is, you see it in these old movies where they siege a castle and they use a great big tree trunk to knock through the doors. A battering ram. Okay.
Mhm.
Then invincible, not like invisible.
Yeah.
Invincible.
During my reading, I thought this must be wrong. Invincible.
Yeah, invincible, not able. Invincible.
Invincible.
That's better. Good. And then winged, not winged. Winged is with an H. Winged.
Okay. Winged.
That's it. To wing somebody in this context, it means he probably hit him in the arm or he just injured him rather than just, killing him. Okay?
Okay.
So, which might make him whinge. Okay, then we got this phrase. And the bit in the phrase is chief wish. It's got to go together. So, let's try the whole phrase. And my chief wish was to have the thing begin and be done with it. Try it.
Okay. And my chief wish was to have the thing begin and be done without it. Ching wish. Chief wish. Chief wish.
Chief wish and be done with it, not be done without it. Where did the without come? Okay, and be done with it. Try it.
And be done with it.
That's it. To be done with something means to finish it, to be done with it, to finish, to end it. So
Yeah.
like an exam. Yeah, you want to take the exam and be done with it. So you never have to think about quadratic equations ever again. Okay?
Yes, I
Chief
understand.
wish. Do you want to try, Celine? Do you want to try saying chief wish?
Chief wish.
It's funny, there are always things like that during our sessions that sound
Yeah.
like very tricky tongue twisters in the middle of the phrase. Chief wish, if you repeat that.
That's it. It's not as bad as you think. Excellent, though. Well done. So, and that's what happens when you read a book that's not been written for learners. It's been written for people, which you are. You're just people. Okay, so that will bring us to the end nicely. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming and reading with me. Reading to me, I should say. I don't do any. I'm so lazy. So, then we are, I think, if everybody agrees with me, at page 73 in my book. And the printed version, it says it's page 68. And I settled back to my place recharging the 3 pistols. Does everybody agree? Or have I bungled it?
Yes,
Have I bottled it? You're welcome, everybody. Thank you so much, and you're all very brave. I will see you in the next session, I hope. And don't forget, if you want to, you can record a part, but you have to let me know which part. So if you can't be here next week, you can record the first part for 5 minutes, and I will play it for everybody. Okay, but that's up to you. Bye, everybody. Thanks for coming. See you.